Hey, bud. Welcome back. For now, we're going to get our limestone cooking and get our base building tier done. We want to start making our way towards fully automating all the items that we have access to. Hey, buddy. Got to pet him real quick. And then all the rest of, what is it, tier 2? So we are going to go ahead and get a miner set down on here. And let's see. This pulls out 60 limestone a minute. We don't need smelters for a limestone spot because it just makes concrete. So it's 45 per minute with 15 per. So while a little suboptimal, we don't want it to be sitting doing nothing, just blocked up. So what we are going to do is go ahead and split this into 2 for now. And then what we can end up doing in the future as we find more limestone deposits, we can we can start equaling out these ratios a bit better and take advantage of the numbers that line up. But for now, we are going to take 2 of these, run some power down. Look at these birds. They're always pretending to be plants, or they're hungry with their mouths open. I haven't really figured out what they're doing. Seems like you'd be able to like drop a little berry in their mouth or something, but all it did was eat it in front of them. Okay, that goes and puts together all of our concrete constructors. We are going to go ahead and store these far closer to the base. We knew this time would come. I should have planned for it a little bit better. So as you can see, our max consumption got up there to 71 with the new constructors added, and with only 2 of these, we're outputting 60 megawatts. So what I am going to go ahead and do here is we are going to clean this up a little bit more. We also want to build in some space for biomass, since that is going to be our next, or our, I forget what it's called already, our solid biofuel. There we go. We got there. Once we have solid biofuel, we'll be able to not have to babysit these nearly as much. But for now, we are going to make a few more of these. So bear with me. Oh, hi. All right, just putting the finishing touches on this. What we have done is built out 2 biomass burners per storage that we're going to use. So wood will be turning 1, as well as leaves. Need to set up the constructors to feed into these, and unfortunately right now we're not generating any power, therefore we are not running any operations. So we are going to try and clear this bottleneck as fast as we can. Here we are. That's not perfect, but sometimes you just got to go. Perfect isn't always a requirement, even though it often feels like it is. Okay, so we are going to make these biomass makers as they once were. In the next iteration, what we'll end up doing is we'll add an extra constructor to the mix, and that will end up turning the biomass into the next stage, which is the solid biofuel. So we're going to give ourselves a little bit of room to build that in as we put in our storage containers. Oops. You'll notice me sometimes lock in the hologram. I do that just for the nudging aspect. Even then, it doesn't always get it perfectly. Here I am thinking I can float. So let's go ahead and hook these up for now. Put leaves there. We put wood there. And then for these four, we need to go ahead and make sure that they have a little bit of fuel in them already to get them going, just kind of like what we did earlier. So what we're able to do is split our biomass and put it out a bit more evenly here. Oh, that lucky one gets to go full, but let us go ahead and hook these up. This way we can get our power grid back online. Okay, so that'll get that cooking. That'll give us a good bit more energy now. We can check our stats real quick. Turn this back on. And I think we actually might need to still connect these. Oh, yeah. All right, so we're up to 120 capacity, and we're consuming around 60, so about half of that. Let's go ahead and get our storage for our limestone and concrete going. We'll build a merger here, and we'll turn that off of straight. I like to build with the straight option, which I think is one of the newer additions that was added to this game, but ooh, we're low on plate. Let us correct that. At any rate, it kind of makes the conveyor belts look nice and lined up a good bit more. So, all right, now we've got our two constructors that are making concrete for us, and that concrete will be transported off to where our base is, so we don't have to keep coming over here checking it out. Again, it's going to be a little bit unoptimized, but for now, early on in the game, we just need to do that. Our next play is going to be to get some other resource nodes cooking. That way we can make sure that we are using our time as best we possibly can. And if you remember in the last episode, we were quite lucky and were able to get the ability to create screws from iron ingots directly without having to make the rods first, which really speeds up production of these. So we're going to go ahead and grab everything that we've produced so far in the iron and limestone range. We do have wires and cables cooking if we need to go back and grab some more, but for now we are going to build out the other direction. Reason being is we can't really work with this rock here. There's no terraforming in this game, so while the scenery is quite beautiful, it's also quite stationary, which is totally fine, and just makes for another challenge that you have to work around, especially if you are building in some of the more mountainous regions. But for now, we've got plenty of flat in this direction for us to build for. We got our smelter. Will this work? No, I was shocked that it hooked so closely. Usually it won't snap that close. But if you press the RB button on the controller, if you're playing along, it will let you align these machines far easier. So again, let us check. We are doing 60 iron per minute. Again, we want to make sure that we are using our resources as best we can. So each smelter will be able to take on 30. Let me go ahead and get that set up. Okay, got this together now. Our miner is going to be pulling out 60 ore per minute. We've got our smelters cooking 30 ore per minute each, and then it's putting out 30 ingots per. We split these into our two different screw maker constructors per smelter, as they take 12.5 ingots per minute to make these screws. So a little inefficiency to start. The only reason I don't add the fifth and sixth constructor to this is that I don't want to spend the extra power right now. It's still kind of precious. So we need to make sure that we are not overloading our system and getting too heavy on screws to start. So let's go ahead and make a storage container for this. Oh, that's a splitter. We need a merger. Well, we can do this better. Okay. We got those lines that I love to see. Now we're going to rebuild this guy and possibly some others because I forgot to see if these will make legal conveyor belt. Okay, most of them do. Let's put these together. And then finally, one more. We'll use snapping for that. See that line there? Oh my goodness. All right. Bring that up a little. And just pretend that that is not defying gravity. All right. We've got our screw production rolling. Really, we've got a lot of our base items being automated now. I believe we can actually go send off this pod. Oh yeah, we got plenty. Let's see, we can go watch this guy take off with our resources. See you, bud. All right. All right, what's next? Okay, this is where we start getting into our item mixing a bit more. You'll see that the assembler is coming, which will allow us to put two items together. Copper sheeting, which is a very highly used item, and so on. The jump pad's not very useful. The resource sync bonus program, quite important actually. We'll want to get that before too long. And then the Logistics Mark II rewards, which gives us the next level of conveyor belt, but not quite there yet. Let's go ahead and take care of obstacle clearing first and get that chainsaw in my hands. So we can't put those in just yet, as our items are, or actually the pod is flying back in. It's coming in just now, actually. And we will need to end up probably waiting a little bit on the screws to cook, but that is not a big deal. They are coming in quite quickly, so we're already halfway there. Actually, as you can see, this is slowing down a little bit. This is really going to bottleneck us here quite soon. So let's just go ahead and build a second one of these, because we are going to need a ton of screws. They're used in a lot of the recipes we've got coming up. So let's see if we can get this moving a little bit faster. Actually, I'm not even happy with that. Let's pull this off. What we're going to do is we are going to stick to a container. So we will just break this off and let's make this default. We'll be fine. Actually, no, that's gross. Let's go ahead and wrap this around here. We We're not savages. Can't just have it cut through like that. So now we'll have two constructors each feeding a container, and that should keep our materials moving a little bit better. So while we are doing that, let's go take a look at the MAM machine, ma'am. I'm not really sure what to call it, but this is where we can do some of our upgrades, where we can research items and then it will give us rewards based off of what we turn in. It's basically a pretty classic skill tree progression, nearly. We get stronger and unlock better things as we go on, but you can see it starts from very humble beginnings, such as a berry or a nut or a mushroom. So all you have to do is meet the item requirements, have them in your inventory, and you can finish that research. These earlier ones aren't going to necessarily have much rewards behind them. We will just be doing them so that we can get towards the next tier of items to unlock. So you can see this opened up a new group of things. We have some really cool stuff like the rebar gun, which we could almost make if we had the rotors that we didn't have to spend on opening the hard drive earlier, but that's okay. We'll have enough of those here soon. And then we are always pressed for inventory slots. So this one is actually really not going to be too hard to get. Three proteins and 1,000 wires or 1,000 cables. Very simple. We're just producing these by the hundreds at this point. So let me drop off this ore. Oh, actually, I forget that we chose to slow this down because we had to. Yeah, we had to. All right, so there we have it. We now have our chainsaw. Next, we just need to turn it into biofuel. Next episode, we will continue working on our milestones. We're also going to work on cleaning up our copper line because we built it knowing that we were going to be less than optimal, but we can fix that quite easily. Take care. See you at the next one.